Madridistas, it is time for some midweek football as this Tuesday we take on Stuttgart in what is mine and I think a lot of Madridistas' favorite competition, the Champions League. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the matchup, telling you who Stuttgart is, giving you my starting 11, and of course, my official match prediction. But before we get started, if you're new around here, I'm Dally with Dallyfc and I cover all things Real Madrid. At the end of the video, if you like the content, you want to see more from myself, please hit that subscribe button. Right now, smash that like button as we're back to playing Champions League football and we're getting ready to win number 16 in European titles. Starting off this video, I think it's important for us to know, who is our opponent? Who is Stuttgart? Well, Stuttgart, they finished second last season in the Bundesliga, and this season they currently sit 10th. Now, granted, they have one win, one draw, and one loss, and it's really early in the season for them, but I think it's going to be pretty difficult for them to get back into one of the top 4 Champions League spots. Now, granted, in the last game, they played Gladbach, and I believe I pronounced that right. Any of the Germans, let me know in the comments how I did in that pronunciation. But they actually did defeat Gladbach over the weekend 3-1. And you might be wondering, well, what do they look like? What's their formation? Well, as you can see on the screen now, this was their formation against Gladbach in the last one. They run a 4-4-2 with 2 center forwards in the top. And the 2 center forwards actually scored all 3 goals for Stuttgart in the last one. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see how Real Madrid line up against this. Going against 2 primarily center forwards, I think Militao and Rudiger are going to have to do a really good job defending against them. And I think it might be a challenge for us as well, but we'll get into that. Now, a couple things with Real Madrid. I have some good news and I have some bad news. And unfortunately, let's start with the bad news. Brahim Diaz did get hurt in the last one. And it looks like he's going to be out about 8 weeks now for Real Madrid, which is just super unfortunate. It looks like it was an injury to the back of his leg. I'm not sure if it's muscle contusion or what exactly. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and hopefully we can get Brahim back very soon. Now, Brahim is listed as an attacker, so I would expect primarily Endrick to hopefully get some more minutes, because Endrick does have the ability, he is a true striker, but he does have the ability to play as a right wing, play as a second striker as well. So we might be seeing some more minutes from Endrick, as well as Arda Güler can move out there to the right wing. He's primarily a midfielder. That's what he's listed at on the Real Madrid website. And so we could see some more. I would expect Endrick to get some more playing time, as well as Arda Güler. Now, on a more positive note, we have fantastic news because Jude, Bellingham, and Tchouameni are back with the squad. They've been training the past couple days, and I think that both of them will be starting in this game. And now, as you can see on the screen, this is my starting 11, and I do have Jude Bellingham and Tchouameni starting in this lineup. And honestly, this should be the lineup that Carlo Ancelotti rolls out there as well. This should be the starting 11 100%. Now, the formation might be a little different. Maybe you move Jude to more of a 10 role and you do like a double pivot with Tchouameni, Valverde. Valverde as more of a floating 8, something like that. I could see that happening from Carlo. But honestly, other than Mendy, I think this is going to be the starting 11 that Carlo rolls out there. Now, it's fantastic that Jude is back just because, he did have the injury right after the Mallorca game, and he's had some time now. I think it's been about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, to actually rest and recover. And I think that Jude should be ready to go. Now, is he going to be playing the full 90 minutes? I think that's one of the things we really need to be watching in this one, because I think it's going to be really interesting because how healthy is Jude? Is he at 90%, 80%? Is he at 100%? It's going to be really interesting to see. So I want all of us to be watching Jude and his fitness level. Does he look a little rusty out there? There's a really good possibility that happens. Also, does he just look awkward, or does he get another nick or something like that? We really need this midfield to be healthy for us to have a really good run in Champions League. So everybody definitely pay attention to how Jude is in this one. I would probably recommend, depending on how healthy he is, maybe we see Jude 60-ish minutes, and then maybe we can bring on Arda Güler, and maybe we can put Arda Güler more of a 10 role. I think we've really missed Jude, though, the past couple weeks, just because the runs that he makes into the box, it helps us so much. He creates so much space for the attackers, for Vinny, for Mbappe especially. And so having Jude back should do wonders for us, honestly, in this one. So very much looking forward to seeing Jude again. Now, when it comes to Tchouameni, we've missed him, honestly. Having Modric play like a DM, and honestly in the last one, it was more Fede Valverde kind of filling in that role as well. I think it's going to be important for Tchouameni to be back there, to be playing that defensive mid role, and really just a lot more control. And I want to see him, spreading the ball out around the park, making great passes, to a Vinny, to Rodrigo. We've seen Rudiger and Militao make these really long balls to Vinny on the run, to Mbappe on the run, to Rodrigo. This should be something that we should see from Tchouameni. Plus, there's been a lot of times in the past couple games that we see Tchouameni get the ball right outside the box. I'm like, Tchouameni, shoot the ball. I don't understand what you're doing. Shoot the ball. You have opportunity to do it. We've seen it for France. I believe it was in the World Cup. He scored a wonderful goal from there. Let's see it again. Tchouameni, I want him to level up this season. And I think hopefully if he's fully healthy, I want to see him do it in this one as well. Now, again, same thing with Jude for Tchouameni. How healthy is he? Is he 100% ready to go? And maybe we were just resting him in the game against Real Sociedad. That could be it. Or he might not be 100% too. And so there is a possibility, we still are missing Camavinga, that maybe Modric comes on for Tchouameni in this one. That's going to be something interesting to watch as well. Now, finishing up the midfield, I think it's important that we now have Tchouameni and Jude Bellingham back, which will allow Fede Valverde to, drive, kind of run around, make those runs on the right wing, make those drives forward through the center half. I think it's going to be really important to see where is Fede Valverde's positioning in this one. I cannot wait to be talking about it on the live stream right after the match, taking a look at his heat map in that one. It's going to be really interesting to see. And, when we've had Tchouameni out there and when we've had Bellingham, that's when Valverde is at his best. And so I really hope that having both of them back in the midfield gives Valverde, a little more comfort. He can play, his better role, a little more attacking wise, and he doesn't have to be so, defensive minded as well. Now, on the right side as well, I do have to say Carvajal, I think it's going to be a big game for him just because, we see a lot of our attacks coming from the left wing, from a Vinny, from Mbappe even, they're overlapping. Jude loves to come from that side. For Carvajal, I want to see him get up and link up with Rodrigo. Let's cross some balls into the box. Let's have some 1-2 passes where Carvajal can kind of drive it in. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Carvajal does in this one. He has 1 year left on his contract. There's rumors that we might be bringing in like Trent Alexander-Arnold in the near future. So it's going to be interesting to see. Carvajal, he was fantastic last year. He was fantastic for Spain in the Euros. Look out for Carvajal in this one. I think he's going to have a great game. I can't wait to watch it. Now, moving forward, I do have to mention Militao. Militao in the last one, I thought he had a pretty good game overall against Real Sociedad. Now, he did get hurt a little bit, and there was a little concern. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how well does Militao do in this one, because he did finish the full 90, but he was limping a lot. And so if Militao cannot go, we might have to move Carvajal into center back and maybe bring on Lucas Vazquez over at right back as well. So everybody take a look at how Militao is doing in this one. I'm going to be keeping my eye on him, and hopefully he can stay fully healthy in this one. Now, the next couple of people I really want to talk about is, of course, VMR. And we will start with the R in this one. And, of course, I'm talking about Rodrigo. I think this is going to be a really interesting game from Rodrigo just because I do expect him to start. I do expect him on the right wing. And honestly, I talked about it in my Real Sociedad video, so if you didn't see it, check it out here. But where was Rodrigo in that one? I was very disappointed in his game. I thought in the game against Real Betis, he had a fantastic game. He gets the assist for Mbappe. It's going to be really interesting to see how much are we going to the right wing, because Mbappe, honestly, when Rodrigo wasn't in there, he was driving on the right wing, creating opportunities. Brahim was feeding it to him over there. I want to see some more link up between Mbappe and Rodrigo, and I want to see some more link up between Carvajal and Rodrigo, because we've seen it in years past. It works really well. This just needs to be a great game from Rodrigo, and I want him to be more involved. He doesn't even have to get an assist or a goal. I just want him to be more involved, where we can see him making runs, making supporting runs, and just helping on the attack. Now, when it comes to Vinny and Mbappe, I have to link them together because they are going to be the most interesting two players to watch, I think, for probably the next 3 years. This season in particular, it's going to be very fascinating how well they work together, because I thought we finally saw Mbappe heating up. There's been flashes from Mbappe where he was making fantastic runs. His dribbling was good. He was taking on defenders. We're starting to see it now. Is it a complete product yet? No, 100% not. Trust me, I've been pretty critical as well of Mbappe just because there's a lot of shots that I'm like, what are you doing? I feel like you're just shooting it just to shoot it. I want to see the quality of shots from Mbappe be a lot better. But like I said, I have been very impressed. Him getting better and better every single match. And he didn't have a great Euros with France. Broke his nose. I still think that we're forgetting about that. But I want to see some more better shot quality from Mbappe in this one as well. And just the link up between Vinny and Mbappe. The Real Betis game, they did fantastic together. I want to see that happen in this one as well. Now, talking about Vinny, the biggest thing for me with Vinny is I want to see him taking on defenders. You know, the Vinny that we saw last year that will probably win him the Ballon d'Or, I feel like we haven't seen it. Like he's been creating chances, like 100%. There's been people talking about it in the comments. I see you. I see what you're saying. He's creating chances for Mbappe. I just think some of the chances have not been fantastic. And really, I kind of want Vinny to be a little more selfish and like, let's run and drive the ball down the left wing and then come inside and pass it, you know, to a Rodrigo, to an Mbappe. You know, the one I'm talking about in particular is when Vinny drove it in and then passed it to Fede Valverde, I believe it was the Hala game. That was a fantastic run from Vinny. This is what he does. You know, we've seen it match after match for Vinny in years past. I want to see it again this time for Vinny in this one as well. Now, I mentioned some of the subs I'd like to see already, but I'll mention them again. If Bellingham is not fully fit, I'd love to see Arda Güler come on for about 30 minutes. You know, the chances that he can create are fantastic. The link-up play between Mbappe and him have been really good so far throughout the couple games so far this season. I also think if we're trailing or we're tied in the game, I think Arda Güler can come in and create something. You know, he's created 2 different penalties already for Real Madrid. And also, I think some of the shot selection from Arda Güler, I think it's really good sometimes, and that I think he can come on and be a real threat. Especially, I mentioned it already, but Brahim Diaz being out, we really need somebody to come on and get us a goal. I also think that person could be Endrick. I would love to see Endrick come on. If Vinny is struggling, maybe move Mbappe to the left wing and put Endrick up top. If Rodrigo's struggling, take Rodrigo off and put Endrick at right wing. Or if Mbappe's struggling, put Endrick at striker. There's so many different options that we have with Endrick, and I think the flexibility that he brings is very much needed on this team. And also, the electricity that this kid brings. You know, he's just electric when he gets the ball. I love his pressing ability. I love his first touch. It's been fantastic so far. He's only had 1 goal, but I've really liked every single time that he's been out there for Real Madrid. And so very much looking forward to seeing Arda Güler and Endrick come off the bench. I could also see, like I said, Lucas Vazquez, he could be coming on. I could also see Modric come on as well for like possibly Tchouameni if Tchouameni's not fully fit and ready to go. Now, when it comes to my prediction for this game, you know, I think it's going to be a really interesting game to watch because we haven't played a team from Bundesliga this season so far. The last time we played a Bundesliga team was, of course, Bayern Munich in the semifinals. And I think this Real Madrid team, honestly, everybody knows this. We are so much more talented than any team in the world other than possibly Manchester City, you could argue, that we should honestly dominate this team. This is a Stuttgart team that's probably a mid-table Bundesliga team. Unfortunately, I still don't think we are there as a club yet. I still think there's a lot of growing pains, you know, figuring out that front three. VMR, is it going to work long-term? Is it going to be switching to a 4-4-2? I'm not sure. I do think that we ultimately win this match. I do think, though, that this might be a struggle a little more than I would like it to be. So that's why I will be saying Real Madrid wins the match 2-1. And I will say Jude Bellingham gets on the board, and I will say Vinicius Jr. gets on the board as well. And I think we give up a dumb goal, honestly. But yes, that is, of course, my official match prediction. I will be live once again right after the Real Madrid match. I can't wait to chat with you all then. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. This has been Dally with Dallyfc. Cheers. Hala Madrid.